Hi everyone, welcome to the Ethereal Florist in Vegas. We're going to have a little Sunday 101 pathos transplanting. So, I had a pathos last spring into late summer that was doing quite well. It got pretty big, and then I noticed it started some rot with over dampened soil. I live in the desert, so I was just trying to keep it where it was moist during the hot summer months of 114 plus. It is inside, but they like light as well, so it would dry out pretty quick. So I decided to take my pothos and just sit it in water without the soil because of the potential for root rot, and there was also fungus gnats and so forth, and I just wanted the soil to be replaced, and I just decided to put it in some water in a container. So it's been like this for at least 4 months. My Scooby-Doo over there wants to go out, so he is waiting patiently, trying to tell us what he wants to do. But anyway, okay, so what I decided to do now that it's springtime here, it's February 6th, I've been doing this for a couple weeks. I changed the water out just to know that it was in its own water, and I would refill it for at least a few months. It was doing great. So the roots are nice and clean looking. It's time that they need a transplant for the spring. So here's my phase 1 of them sitting in water for a few months. They were doing well, and I decided it's time to take a stem, take a look at my root systems, take a good stem, and transplant. So I just took a single stem. It has some new leaf growth. I found where the root systems are. If you look here and you pull the plant up, you can see the root system. So you're gonna take those root systems and you're just gonna cover them gently in soil. I wouldn't press too hard. They do need to breathe a little bit. And I just covered the root sections of the long elongated stems here. You can see how there's some drying, right? This is the end stem. I'll probably clip that. There is some new growth there though, so I might just watch it because the roots are in the soil. So, and because it's so arid here, what I'll do is I'll give it a day to settle, but then I'll probably cover it or mist it quite often to keep it where it's not going to be so saturated constantly. You don't want root rot, but it does dry out fast here in the arid region. So I will spritz it or maybe cover it with some vented plastic. I don't like to use plastic, so maybe some some porous material like cloth, that would be better. So, okay, so that's what I did. Just set the roots in the soil, gently covered, and we're gonna let it grow a little bit and get sturdy in the root system. And then I had this bare stem. I actually had a couple bare stems here that looked pretty green, pretty healthy. Photosynthesis is going on. And I said, well, they like to be elongated, these root systems and their stems. I mean, look at the size of this stem here. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. So I took a section of the stem. I mean, this is huge. I had to cut it into sections in order to plant it. So I'll take these stems and I'll look for the roots, like where the roots are starting to come off the stem. See how they come off the stems? And it's elongated. So they like to be where the nodes are, you'll see roots coming out. And I'll snip maybe here and then put this section in the soil. So I have some bare stems that it looks like there was some roots starting to grow out of those nodes. And I took about 3 or 4 short stems that look pretty healthy from my cutting, and I put it elongated because they like to be in that direction when they start to root up. And in order to determine how much moisture is in the jar, you can put just a paper towel that's wet, and when that dries out, that's your indicator that it needs more water. So it's a quick way to just start this root system for the pothos to propagate. I'll put it on my plant stand, and there you have it. I'll give it a couple weeks at least, and those roots will start to show, and then I can put them in soil too. So from maybe just a 1 to 2 pothos plants, I can propagate multiples. So you don't have to go out and buy the pothos all the time. And that's just a general term for that type of plant. but it's just a way to propagate. Same things with this coleus. I just transplanted this. This stem broke off of this coleus plant that I had. So it broke off the front. It was getting heavy. So it took me about a week to propagate roots, and I just transplanted that as well. So now I have multiple plants of that. These little baby coleus came off the base, started growing up from these coleus lengthy stems that were growing, and I just decided to cut the stems off. You can see where I cut the stems. Okay, put them in water, propagated once they rooted up, and now I have the original plant propagating as well. So this is the original. There were 3 of them, and from those 3 I have propagated other coleus plants. So there's 1, 2, one of the originals, 3, and then I have some others under here too. So it's a great way, once you know how to propagate. Coleus does well in sitting in water for a couple weeks to root up, and then you can transplant it. So does pothos. So stay tuned, and we'll get you some another one that does well too is the calancho. You can root those up too. You can root those. And I just did one, where is it? That's a calancho. I just did another rooting. Oh, here it is. Yep, this is a type of succulent, and so is the calancho. That's not the calancho though. I think it's this one here that I just started rooting up. This is a calancho here, yeah. So you can set them in water too for a couple weeks and they'll root up. So Sunday 101, plant propagation. Take your single plant that you purchase and propagate it. It's from the stems. That's calanchos, coleus you can do that with, and the pothos. All right, make your planting fun and save some money. Bye for now. Love, the Ethereal Florist in Vegas. I'll see you.